All right, it is YellBRo light time. The topic for today, tonight, whatever, the hero's journey. A well-known phrase, idea, concept that has been shared not only for something like artwork, film, writing, and all that, but also in everyday practical life. I think this concept holds weight on multiple levels. It's a very not just influential, but it's like it makes its way through life regardless if you're trying it or not. Right? Typically, like not typically, but on a typical level or on a practical level, right? Even Joseph Campbell, I believe, who coined the phrase "hero's journey," he speaks about just something simple as a kid or a young person or a young adult, leaving the nest, going and discovering themselves, and then when they return, there's a different thing, a different vibe, a sense of maturity. Some sort of journey was taken. They return, and then they come back with, you know, the prizes, the wealth that they accumulated through their journeys. And I don't mean money, I mean like life experience. So it can work on that typical level, but what we're going to focus on more is the a more detailed look at the existential sense of things, of the hero's journey, and why I think it's important not only to just think about as something interesting, and not only for personal development, but also I try to bring it into the political world. I try my best. Right? If it's a part of a human experience and politics is expressed by humans, then yeah, of course these things would tie together. But I don't think it's as looked at or focused on as much as I would want that to be a part of the discussion. So I try to do my best on my own. I'm sure there's others, but yeah, haven't heard of them yet. Okay, so my notion of the hero's journey. Now, let's make a distinction here. Now, when we're talking about hero, I would I would actually mean what I would usually use the word champion for. Now, let me just make a distinction real quick. The hero is the one who memorizes the morals and follows them accordingly, typically based on conditioning and right. It's kind of like you have blinders on doing these quote unquote moral things, right? It's the man of the times or woman of the times where they're as good as the morals and environment and world around them. That's what I would put in the category of hero. But a champion, what's up, Oz? Champion will have suffered that philosopher's death to where they are now, quote unquote, twice born. I'm probably going to do videos on those specific concepts, the champion, the twice born, whatever, resurrected, these symbols, right? These very woo woo, not very woo woo, but pretty woo woo symbolic type of things. And, well, just continuing on, the champion has negotiated not only themselves, but for the purpose of the conversation, decide these ideas of good and evil. He inspected both both spectrums of it, both sides of it, both extremes, observed these things, tangled with them, contemplated them, experienced them. Unlike, and the hero does not do that. They stick strictly to the morals of the world and follows them, which takes discipline, right? It takes some discipline and some integrity. And it's like, oh, okay, it seems like this person means well, but they can only go as far as they've seen up the mountain. They've only gotten so far up that they can only understand this realm here. They can't quite, you know, they can't quite enter a stage of mastery or of Christhood or of like some sort of Buddha shit or any type of hero or champion that have been in myth and in sometimes in real life. They can't quite embody that the way the champion archetype can. What's up, Tender? What's up, Prop? Batman already? It's beyond Batman, bro. These stories have been around forever. Actually, I probably would. Maybe I do play the Joseph Campbell bit about it, like his interpretation, right? It's his term that he coined, but I like to take things and then have a real experience with it and then give you my experience. That's kind of my hero's journey in a way, where I went away, really studied, contemplated, did these things, and then try to bring them back to the world through my perspective. Okay, now that we established the difference between hero and champion, these are just me defining my terms on what I think about it. Wait, didn't I see Jesse in here? Did I say hey, Jesse? What's up, Jesse? The freaker. We had a long discussion last night with your best friend Tender. Now that we made this distinction between hero and champion based on my definitions, in reality, I would define the hero's journey as the champion's journey. And I believe it would go something like this. Since you have to, in order to reach the actual champion level, you have to negotiate the full spectrum of morality. Doesn't mean every moral idea, but the actual sense, the actual on-the-ground sense of the morals or lack thereof. You have to observe these, you have to contemplate them. Since you have to do that, there's kind of routes that are there to digging into these concepts. And yeah, I think you've probably heard me bring this up before. What's up, Steve Cutler? In regards to, entering a path that is for you and you only, existentially. But there can be, two distinct routes, I think, in mind. Obviously, there's nuance and more details to things, but there seems to be like these two routes to this road less traveled, if you will. One route is the kicking and screaming one, where there's some sort of tragedy, like the Batman character, right? Some sort of tragedy that pulls you into contemplating about what is good and evil and why do bad things happen and what makes good good and all that. Where some sort of tragedy pulls your mind, your psyche, your energy, pulls it down into the depths, the dark, right? Pulls it into that feminine reservoir of where all these deeper concepts are living, right? Not in words, but in the actual thing, right? There's fear of the concept, and then there's actual fear and being able to sit in that, or dread, or depression, or sadness. But there's also this other route, which is walking into it. They're both valid. What's up, Lucky? What's up, Shadow? They're both valid ways to get there. It's just one will appear more like a destiny, and the other will appear more like a purpose. Right? There's a purpose when you're like, I know where I'm going and what I'm doing, and I will face anything that appears in front of me as I go through this journey, as I walk this path. And then there's you were meant for this. So this life experience, as shitty as it could be, and as horrible, as dark, to look at it as some sort of fatalistic thing or some sort of destiny type of thing. Once you reach, fuck was that? Once you go through that full process, you will step back in awe and be like, I see it now. It was destiny. Now, truly, once you, regardless of whether you do it with purpose or you do it, kicking and screaming, regardless of that, once you reach the top of the mountain, remember the metric shit where the album cover and it's the mountain upside down? It's like that. The top of that mountain. The top of the down mountain. They will both appear as one. As not only was it kicking and screaming, but it was also purposeful. Or instead of kicking and screaming, not only was it destiny, but I also did it on purpose. It's like I created my destiny. Or I was destined to create. It's the same thing. That is what is waiting at the end. Well, the end of the hero's journey. It's not really the end, but it's more of like an epiphany point of realizing and standing there like, oh, there's not going to be much words. Be like, I am. And hello, Allie. And James shrieked, just so you know. And but stop distracting me. All right. Now, in particular of this hero, because look at this. I know typically something like a hero or my notion of champion, it's typically associated with some sort of moral thing, sort of moral expression, or learning principles, or learning how to hold on to principles, or trying to find the right, correct principles. But what's required in regards to the hero's journey is all of it. This is what the light side ends up turning into. Like, I'm splitting these concepts all apart, something like revenge, redemption, bliss, hero's journey, right? Authenticity. It's all really one full thing. It's you. These are things that make you up. But obviously I'm breaking them into categories to give them more of a egotistical, specific, detailed look at these things. Now, as I talked about before with the typical social, even Joseph Campbell brings this up of like, the young adult leaving the home, going through some sort of life experience, then bringing that experience back to, essentially you're bringing some sort of, at least in that example, like a social wisdom that you now bring back to a community of some sort, right? With the hero's journey, I would say the deeper well version of the hero's journey, championhood, that thing I'm talking about, you are going through these pathways to find some sort of, like, forgive me, but like imperial wisdom that you can now bring back to the world. You go through an inner journey to find something. You find your Indiana Jones, find that fucking diamond, and you bring it back up to the ego level to express it in the world. And trust me, it's not only... what's up, Subs? It's not only the... Stop smiling, James. It's not only the social... Or not only the morals that you can end up developing, that you're pulling up through into the mind and expressing. You're also pulling up the integrity to stand behind them, the passion behind it. It's not just the bread, it's the bread and the wine. So that when you speak, on a moral level, all pistons are firing. There's nothing left out. And that is in my opinion, the ultimate expression. And I think it's registered by other people. I truly believe that. So, in my mind, when it comes to existential development, as far as concepts go, there is none better than this concept of the hero's journey. I know a lot of things I'm saying don't sound as much detailed, but it's difficult to explain in like a technical way. That's why movies and film and writing, literature, and all of that are way better at it, using symbols, and they can just show you a character symbolically walking into a cave, fighting the dragon, getting the gold, or the girl, or both, and then walking out of the cave. Right? It's easier to do that symbolically, metaphorically, of the going away, receiving the wisdom, learning the wisdom, and coming back, and then bringing what you found to the world to enrich other people's lives. And that's where it, in my mind, that's where it crosses over into politics, which is, I'm trying my best to connect all these things. And like I said, if there's people there, then these concepts go with it, in my mind at least. So we can definitely translate this into politics. So, okay, now that we got the hero's journey, right? That's walkthrough, that's experience, and now we're bringing something with us when we enter the realm of politics. Now, for me, it's kind of obvious of why things like a moral backbone, integrity, honor, all of these things are, and also the ability to sniff out shittiness or quote unquote evil. Right? If you can observe your own failings, I believe it's way easier to see it in another. And my God, is that important in the realm of politics? Right. So, on the political level, this type of thing, this type of experience, and another reason why there isn't so much detail on, like, what is the hero's journey exactly? Well, I can break it up into categories in a way, but I can't give the details because everyone is different. Everyone found their own way to this point, to that wisdom. It's their path, or my path, or your path. So, through that experience, and when it's brought back to the political level, for me, in my mind, it kind of turns politics into a cakewalk, where like this is so simple, because instead of taking the on the surface, here's the law or the legislation or whatever, here's the even further shallow, like a catchphrase, like Medicare for all is like a catchphrase. As a person who has went through a hero's journey type of experience, like the deeper weld, the champion's journey, if you will, they're already contemplating all the things that they've already experienced and looked at themselves about. All the quote unquote bad things, all the good things, intention, lack thereof. They're all contemplated, they're all dealt with already. So taking that allows you to be able to ask certain questions to people on a political level. To where like I know the right question to get to this place. And if this place is fucking missing, then this person loses me. It's like, oh, yeah, either you haven't done the work, or Something smells nefarious here. Hopefully, going through that hero's journey, you would recognize, okay, my ego is not God of the universe, so it can't know everything and know everyone's thoughts, know everyone's intentions, know everything that's going to happen physically, right? So you walk with a I don't know-ness to it. But at the same time, you still hold on to those thoughts, to those ideas, to those feelings, those vibes, those intuitions, because you don't, right? In that hero's journey, you're fucking starving. You're not going to throw not even the littlest crumb of bread away. All of it is yours. Forgive the Christian reference, but your daily bread. You are very much appreciative of whatever thing you get for your experience. And trust me, you get what you need. But you can also add the wine to it, right? Your intoxication with the word, the bread, the stimuli, the concept, right? You want them both. Yes, facing your dragon. I brought that up before, of the hero going into the cave and you get the gold, you get the girl. But yeah, you get these metaphorical things, this wealth. Grab it, you find that wisdom, and you bring it back out to the world. And like I said, it translates beautifully because you've already looked through all the nooks and crannies and crevices and all the little dark little corners. All of that you've already observed and looked through it. Thus, you're not worried about bringing that to the table with you when you're dealing with people and their little dark corners that maybe they're trying to hide from. You would know what questions to ask to reach those dark little corners. You're not going to get the full picture, but I bet you can get something if they're willing to answer it, right? So that is very, 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 very important. Thank you, Ed, for the $7. I do a hero's journey video and then my speaker's turned off. Shit. I'm hanging with Garcia. I'm explaining to him what YellBRo light means. Oh, okay. Hey, up to everyone's own interpretation with it. But yeah, like I said, that's a little bit of the darker side of things in regards to being able to sniff out, like, hey, maybe questions like this should be asked, because then it'll give me a little bit more understanding of where you're coming from, or maybe what your intentions are, or what you're about. But it also has the lighter side of benefits, which would be, let's say good ideas. Ideas that you feel are good and are helpful for the main goal. The main goal is helping others. Boom. It'll be easier to see because you're open to it. And you can sniff out what might be like, this could be a nefarious idea masking itself as a good idea. Right? Those deeper, the 5D chess. You can look around that shit and won't fall for things because, hey, I worked on my integrity. Where's yours at? I said this about Trump or AOC or these types, where it's like, as soon as Trump, I understand why people supported him. I get it. For me, it wasn't enough because I didn't see those darker corners. I didn't hear those answered or even asked in the first place. But I understand why people supported him. But the second he lets a bomb off in a foreign country or kills a little girl or anything like that, that should have instantly been like, nope, he's not it. Instantly.
Oh, yeah! Make it rain!
I mean, based on your own note. Oh, damn. Thanks, Shadowban. Oh, yeah, baby! Hero's journey! Damn devil worshiper and you're 666. How dare you? YellBRo lightweight. All right, that's actually funny. Freak you, duck. Anyways, yeah, as soon as that one thing happened, there's only, once you run through your own processes, your own inner depths of your darker aspects of yourself and really stared them in the eyes to where it's like, to where you can even play with your imagination of like, if I did this, what are my possibilities left in regards to motives and drives behind doing these actions? So when you see Trump bomb this place, bomb whatever country, or kill a little girl, or kill a bunch of people, that should be like, nope, done. He's not it. That's it. Why? Because, sorry, you narrowed your options down. Either you're incredibly stupid and careless with your actions. Maybe you're trying to do good, but you're too dumb and too careless. Dumb is a harsh word, but screw it. You're too dumb or you're too careless and you end up getting people killed. Or you don't care, which gets people killed. Apathy, which means you're not here for moral reasons if you're entered in apathy. Or you purposely did it. To be a little darker, right? Or purposely did it for whatever reason. Money, greed, and things get narrowed down because you narrowed yourself down based on observing your own motives and drives and intentions and all of that. Oh, I've done this fucked up thing, and I can see why I did it because I looked at myself. This is a true story for me. I remember walking down the street. This is when I'm very neurotic. Well, not very, but I'd say pretty neurotic, psychologically. And there was a guy who walked up to me on the street, and he had an accent. It was hard to hear, and he said something like, "Well, here's the thing. It's a mystery to me now because I didn't. Here's the problem with what I did." He said something like, "Can I have something?" And I couldn't. Right, he had a thick accent. I couldn't understand him. Right, he's in raggedy clothes and shit. I believe he was homeless. And you know what I did? I said no. He said, "Can I have blah blah blah?" Inaudible. Said I didn't hear him. I had no idea what he actually said. I said no, and then kept walking. Granted, I was thinking about it as I'm walking away. I'm like, what the fuck did he say? Did I fuck up? Instead of turning back, right? Because it's weird. It's socially awkward to walk back and be like, "Oh, sorry, man. Hey, man, I didn't hear exactly what you said. Can you say it for me again so maybe I can help out?" Instead of doing that, I kept walking, contemplating what the fuck the guy actually said. Like, was he asking for food or money? Something creepy and nefarious? Or whatever? I left it a fucking mystery. And this me looks at that me and like, wow, you little fucking coward. All because you didn't, like, I don't want the fucking conflict or anything. I just want to keep going. I wasn't late for anything or busy with something. I think I was just going to the fucking corner store. But my neuroses stopped me from just being like, this could be weird or awkward, but I'll take the risk. I'll embarrass myself to make sure you're not going hungry. That's the fucking difference. That's the thing to look at. That's the thing you develop as time goes by. Where you don't, you look at your own darker corners, your darker aspects, and you learn how to negotiate them, deal with them for the sake of what? A bigger purpose. All right. That is it for this. A little bit longer. But, I felt like rambling. Don't forget to subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. You have any stories of your hero's journey? Have you ever heard of it? Do you think it's valuable for not just your own existential development, but also in the material existence? I think it is. I think it's very fucking important. In fact, I don't even think you can really get shit done without that. Because either you're blindly doing something, or you don't like, or you're apathetic to it, or whatever. And I would hope that people would want to experience this life with their eyes wide open, especially in the moral realm. Because as I just said before about like someone like Donald Trump, like you walk in ignoramus without knowing those aspects of yourself, the ability to ask those questions, or letting something like your laziness or your neuroticism or your fear or something like that block you from some sort of pivotal moment. Oh, that can result in a bombing somewhere or someone getting hurt or killed or whatever. Welcome to morality. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links, all of them in the description box. Donate to them, share them. Right? If you don't got money, you can share them. That's free to do. But if you do got money, donate. All links in the description box. With all that said, give this video a thumbs down.